In March of 1970, the then borough of Church Manley, some 25 miles to the east of Fulchester, acquired a piece of prime building land on Lark Hill. The building of a block of superior council flats was approved, and work started in March 1973. The scheme has received minimal publicity, but interest ran high, and demand for the flats was naturally enough excessive. Although applications were not solicited, several dozen were received by John Michaelson, Church Manley's housing manager. One of these was in the name of George Roberts and his wife Eileen. Roberts, a local librarian, was something of a celebrity, being the only local man to have won the VC during World War II. He and his wife occupied a small council house with their 11-year-old orphaned nephew, David. In early February 1974, the prospective tenants and the unsuccessful applicants were notified of the Housing Committee's decision and were informed that the flats would be ready for occupation in June of that year. The Roberts application was not successful, and in mid-February, George Roberts, a chronic war invalid, was admitted to hospital. He died a week later from bronchial pneumonia. A week after his death, on the 27th of February 1974, certain information was laid before the local police. Further inquiries were made, the papers were passed to the county prosecuting solicitor, and 3 weeks later, John Michaelson was charged under the Public Bodies Corrupt Practices Act of 1889.
What is your name and where do you live?
Eileen Roberts. Mrs. Eileen Roberts.
And where do you live?
Oh, sorry. 27 Avondale Gardens, Church Manley.
Is your husband still alive, Mrs. Roberts?
I'm a widow.
Now, Mrs. Roberts, I want to take you back to December of 1973, to the 5th of December, to be exact. Would you tell the court what happened on that day?
The 5th of December, yes. That was the day that my husband and I applied for one of the flats that the council were building for rent on Lark Hill.
Will you tell us something about these flats?
Well, they were what's called luxury flats. My husband worked in the library, and the county librarian told him all about them. 3 bedrooms, fully fitted kitchens, and lovely views.
Now tell me, did you apply as a result of an advertisement? Did the council ask for applications?
No, not as far as I know. We just heard about it, as I said, and, well, we felt that we deserved one. We were living in a small 2-bedroom council house, and it was pre-war. Well, it was old-fashioned. It didn't have any modern conveniences, space for a fridge and things like that.
You say you thought you deserved one of these flats. Why you particularly? There must have been several other families living in similar accommodation to yours.
Well, there were, but it was because of my husband, really. You see, he won the Victoria Cross in Italy during the war, and he was the only man in Church Manley who'd ever won an honour like that, and I felt that they hadn't done enough for him. And he was a sick man because of the war.
Yes, I see.
Was your husband in receipt of a war disability pension, Mrs. Roberts?
No, sir. But he had a weak chest.
Thank you.
You made an application for the flat. What happened next?
We got a postcard saying that they'd got our letter, but as I said, I really felt that George deserved more than that.
George is your husband, I take it?
Yes, my late husband.
Yes. What happened after you received acknowledgement of your application?
We waited until the new year, and then and then I went to see the housing manager, Mr. Michaelson.
Mr. Michaelson, the accused?
Yes.
Where?
At the council offices.
When was that?
Early January. It was a Thursday. I think it was the 3rd.
Yes, Thursday, the 3rd of January, 1974. Did you make an appointment?
No, I just went along and asked for him. I knew Mr. Michaelson slightly, from official functions.
And what happened at this meeting?
Well, Mr. Michaelson asked me to sit down, and I did, and I told him how I'd come about the application, and how I felt that the town owed my husband something. and that we'd always wanted to live on Lark Hill, and that I'd do anything to get a flat there. And he said, anything? And I said, well, you know what I mean. And he said, I wonder if I do, Mrs. Roberts. And then he implied that if we were to have sex together, he'd see what he could do.
Can you remember his exact words, Mrs. Roberts?
No. No, I can't. But I certainly knew what he meant.
It would be helpful if you would try to remember the exact words of this implication, Mrs. Roberts. If I may say so, you had little difficulty in remembering the opening lines of the exchange.
I was getting rather nervous, sir. I wasn't expecting him to behave like that.
I see. Go on, Mr. Harvey.
My lord. Well, please try and tell us the essence of what he said.
Well, he said something like, if a woman with your attributes is prepared to do anything, he said he was sure he could do something.
And did you reply to this, Mrs. Roberts?
Yes. I told him that I wasn't prepared to do anything like that, not for a flat or anything else. And he could see that I meant it, because he'd said something to the effect that I was taking him the wrong way, and he meant about a business arrangement, and that the best thing I could do was to get my husband to telephone him.
And you did what the accused told you?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
And after he telephoned, my husband told me that he'd arranged...
Please, Mrs. Roberts, I must stop you there, I'm afraid. You may not tell us what your late husband said to you. That's what's known as hearsay evidence and is not admissible. You may, however, tell the court what transpired as a result of the telephone call.
Well, nothing happened for nearly a week. And my husband and I were trying to get some money together. We didn't have a lot of ready cash.
No.
And then I think it would be the Wednesday of the following week. That'd be the 9th of January. We put some money in an envelope.
How much money?
£100 in £5 notes.
Thank you. Go on.
And then David and I took the envelope, and David and I went to the council offices.
Who is David?
My nephew. My late husband's brother's child. His parents died 4 years ago.
I see. He's lived with you ever since, has he?
Yes, he has.
Yes, I see. Now, you were saying that you took this envelope and David and yourself went to the council offices?
Yes. We took the bus, the 83, it drops through at the gates, and then I took David up the drive and showed him the way in, and then I sat on a form and waited for him.
How long was he away?
Not long. A few minutes. And then as soon as he came out, we went back home.
Thank you, Mrs. Roberts. Now, I'd like you to tell the court what has happened with regard to this matter since that day.
Well, very, very little, really. Unless you feel the way I do. That my husband died because he was heartbroken. Heartbroken because he didn't get what he deserved.
Mrs. Roberts, we all sympathize with you in your loss. But I must ask you to remember that we are conducting an investigation into allegations of corruption, and we are only interested in those allegations.
My lord, if I may assist here. Mr. George Roberts was admitted to the county hospital in Rutherford on February the 5th, 1974, and died 9 days later on the 14th. The cause of death was bronchopneumonia. Mrs. Roberts? My lord, I wonder if I might be allowed a little more latitude.
If you mean, will I allow you to lead? I'm inclined to say yes. If that, in turn, leads to a drop in the emotional temperature. I'm sure Miss Gibson will not hesitate in the unlikely event of any trespasses on your part.
I most certainly will not, my lord.
Thank you, my lord. Mrs. Roberts, am I correct in saying that in spite of the deserving nature of your case, your application was unsuccessful?
My lord.
Mr. Harvesty, I gave you an inch and I expected you to take no more than that. You will perhaps rephrase that question in a more satisfactory manner?
I'm sorry, my lord, I didn't think that was contentious. Mrs. Roberts, did you receive a letter from the housing manager informing you that your application had been unsuccessful?
Yes, we did.
When did you receive this letter?
I think it was the beginning of February. A Tuesday. I think it was the 5th.
and 5th. Now, you took an envelope containing £100 to the council offices. At that time, how did you regard this money? What was its purpose?
Well, I thought it was some kind of key money.
But it wasn't, as we now know. Was there any innocent reason that you can think of why you were sent to the council offices with that money? I mean, did your husband owe any money to the council?
No. It was a bribe from my husband to Mr. Michaelson.
Thank you.
Now, Mrs. Roberts, yes. Mrs. Roberts, you have told my learned friend that you knew Mr. Michaelson slightly from official functions.
Yes, that's correct.
I wonder if you recall the chairman's dinner of last year. It was held at Briar's Wood in the council offices, and there was, I understand, dancing to the Barney Green Trio. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. Now, let us extend your recollection to the Ladies' Choice Waltz that evening.
Ladies' Choice Waltz?
A dance where the initial roles of the sexes is reversed, my lord.
Do you mean that, contrary to custom, the lady approaches the gentleman of her choice and invites him to dance?
That is right, my lord.
Oh.
Mrs. Roberts, on that evening, the gentleman of your choice was Mr. Michaelson, was he not?
Yes.
Why?
He was a very good dancer.
Not, I gather, his only attribute. Is it not true that during this dance you told Mr. Michaelson that your husband wasn't feeling very well, and you suggested to him that he might take you home if your husband had to leave early?
Who told you that?
Oh, let us not worry too much about the source of the information, Mrs. Roberts. Let us concern ourselves rather with its truth, shall we?
But it isn't true. I did tell Mr. Michaelson that my husband wasn't feeling very well, but it was his idea that he should see me home, not mine.
Really?
Yes, really. And I told him what he could do with his offer.
Well, now, why was that? From what you have told us, Mr. Michaelson behaved himself perfectly properly.
On the dance floor, yes. But he'd have stopped behaving properly as soon as he got me in the car.
Are you suggesting that Mr. Michaelson was, to say the least, something of a ladies' man?
Yes, I am. To say the least.
Oh, now, that is interesting. If my memory serves me right, and I'm sure it does, you expressed an opposite point of view to his lordship during my learned friend's examination. Ah, yes, when his lordship asked if you could recall the exact wording of Mr. Michelson's sexual implication, you said that you were getting rather nervous. I quote, "I wasn't expecting him to behave like that." You were talking about the same man.
I meant that I wasn't expecting him to behave like that in his office.
No, Mrs. Roberts, you lack that most important ingredient of a convincing liar, a good memory. And I suggest to you that you are inhabiting a fantasy world in which truth and fantasy are inextricably mixed. A world you entered on the day Mr. Michaelson refused your advances, Mrs. Roberts.
That's not true.
Is it not? Mrs. Roberts, perhaps you sincerely believe that you and your husband deserve the tenancy of one of the Larkhill flats. You were indeed prepared to do anything to secure that tenancy. And when you failed to get what you wanted, you were equally prepared to do anything you could to get even with the man whom you, in your fantasy, held responsible, Mr. Michaelson, who stands here today accused solely as a result of your vindictive and unfounded complaint.
I made no complaint.
Really? Would you mind repeating that?
I said I made no complaint. Mrs. Pycroft went to the police, not me.
Well, is that so? Well, then would you mind telling the court about this Mrs. Pycroft?
She's my neighbour. She lives at 25 Avondale Gardens. She went to the police after she found me.
After she found you?
I tried to do away with myself. I'd been feeling very depressed ever since my husband died. There was very little money, and I turned the gas on.
And your neighbor found you?
Yes.
Were you taken to hospital?
No. When she came in, I'd only just started.
Will you speak up, please, Mrs. Roberts?
She said she had only just...
Yes, I am obliged, my lord. How did this Mrs. Pycroft happen to find you?
She was coming in for a cup of coffee.
You mean she was expected?
Well, yes.
At what time?
11
And did she
o'clock.
often come for coffee every day?
Wait.
2 or 3 times a week?
Yes.
Yes, 2 or 3 times a week.
Yes.
And was she always punctual? Was she ever late, Mrs. Roberts?
Oh, no, she was...
How did she get in? Did she
I-
have a key? Did
No.
she force an entry?
No,
Oh,
no.
so you left the door open for her, did you? Leave the door open for you?
I must have done.
I see. Well, let us recapitulate, Mrs. Roberts. You decided to attempt suicide. So you turned on the gas a few minutes before a neighbor was due to visit. A neighbor who was never late and for whom you had left the door open. And when this neighbor, this Mrs. Pycroft, happened to find you, you told her the story that you've told here today, as a fairly predictable result of which she went to the police and laid information against an innocent man.
But it wasn't like that.
In your testimony, nothing is it, Mrs. Roberts?
Mrs. Roberts, I had hoped to spare you any further distress, but as my learned friend has seen fit to pursue a certain course, I must ask you to bear with me for 2 or 3 more questions. When you decided to attempt to take your own life, were you aware of the time?
No.
You were not aware then that Mrs. Pycroft was about to walk in through your door and in the event save your life?
No. You don't think of things like that.
Do you live in a fantasy world, Mrs. Roberts?
No. Unfortunately, the world I live in is very real.
Thank you, Mrs. Roberts.
Thank you, Mrs. Roberts. You may leave the witness box.
I call David Roberts.
David Roberts.
My lord, I would have hesitated to call so young a witness had his presence not been crucial to my case. However, I can assure your lordship that the boy understands the nature and obligation of the oath and requires no instruction therein.
I must be the judge of that, Mr. Hardesty. Now then, young man, what is your name?
David, sir. David Roberts.
Well, David, I am sure that at some time you must have seen a film or television program which contained scenes in a courtroom such as this.
Yes, sir. There was one last Saturday, just before the matter of the day.
Really? Oh, thank you. And no doubt you have seen witnesses take what is known as the oath.
Yes, sir.
Why do they take the oath?
Well, so that everyone hears them swear to tell the truth, and they get into trouble if they don't.
Yes. Now, do you know the difference between right and wrong?
Yes, sir.
And between truth and lies?
Yes, sir.
Do you go to church?
Yes, sir.
Well, David, if you swear on the Bible to tell the truth and then tell lies, what happens to you?
God is angry.
Yes. Well, David, I expect you realize that we are gathered here today to seek the truth about a most important matter. And it is essential that you should answer absolutely truthfully every question put to you by this gentleman or this lady or by myself. You appreciate that?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Let him be sworn.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I promise before Almighty God to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
What is your name?
David Roberts, sir.
And where do you live, David?
Number 27 Avondale Gardens.
Where's that?
It's off Pollitt Street, sir. Between Pollitt Street...
No, I mean in what town is it?
Oh, it's in Church Manley, sir.
Thank you. Now, David, you live at 27 Avondale Gardens, Church Manley, which is also the home of Mrs. Eileen Roberts. What relation are you to Mrs. Roberts?
She's my auntie, sir.
Which makes you her nephew.
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived with your aunt?
4 years, sir.
4 years. Now, David, I'd like you to tell his lordship and the jury how you come to be living with Mrs. Roberts.
My mother and father were killed in an accident, your lordship, sir. They were coming home from my grandma's, and a lorry ran into them on the motorway.
Yes, I see.
Thank you, David. Now, I'd like you to think back over the past 4 years, over the time when you were living with your aunt and your uncle when he was alive, and I'd like you to tell the court if during that time either of them ever asked you to do anything wrong.
No, sir.
David, I asked you to think back over the past 4 years. It didn't take you very long.
No, sir.
Are you saying that there was no need to think for very long?
Mr. Hardesty, I realize the temptation to lead this witness, but perhaps you will rephrase that last question.
I'm obliged, your lordship. David, you have told his lordship that you know the difference between right and wrong. Now, answer this very carefully. Have you ever been asked by either your aunt or your uncle to do anything you thought was wrong?
Do you mean the time I took that envelope to the town hall?
No, I wasn't meaning that time, but Well, since you mention it, my lord, I shall be coming to this particular incident in detail very shortly, but I'll deal with this particular point immediately. David, when you did take an envelope into the town hall or council offices, whichever you prefer to call them, when you did that thing, did you think you were doing anything wrong?
Oh, no, sir.
I see. Now let's move on to a particular sort of wrong. Did either your aunt or your uncle ever ask you to tell lies?
No, sir.
You're quite sure of that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. David, can you remember January the 9th of this year?
Rovers beat Crystal Palace in the Cup. It was a replay. They won 2-1.
Yes, well, that was one thing that happened. It was played at night, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, under the floodlights.
Yes. You went with your uncle?
Yes, he wasn't very well, but he took me.
I see. Now, I'd like you to tell us what you did that same afternoon. The afternoon of January the 9th. Tell us in your own words.
You mean about...
No. I mustn't tell you. You must tell us. Try to remember and tell the court, quite simply, what happened.
I went to the town hall with my Auntie Eileen.
Yes, but can you tell us what led up to that? The things that happened before you went?
My Uncle George gave my Auntie Eileen a letter, a thick one with money in it.
Did you know at the time that there was money in it?
No, sir, it was fastened up.
I see. And what happened then?
My Auntie Eileen took me to the town hall, and on the way she said
No, I don't want you to tell me what she said. What did you do?
We went on the bus, and when we got there, my Auntie Eileen gave me a letter and showed me which door to go in.
And which door was that? Can you remember?
Yes, it was around the side. There was a big notice next to it. It said, reserved for the chairman's car.
What happened then?
I went in this door, and there was a gentleman sitting behind a desk. And I said I want to see Mr. Michaelson, and he showed me which door to go in.
Yes, go on.
So I went in this door, and there was a lady there. And I said I want to see Mr. Michaelson, and she said, oh, yes, he's waiting for you. So she opened another door, and she said, this is Mr. Michaelson. And there was a gentleman sitting behind a desk. Then she went away, and I said my uncle said I had to give you this. And I gave the gentleman the envelope.
Yes. Now, tell me, David, is Mr. Michaelson in this room?
Yes.
Will you point to him, please? Now, you say you gave Mr. Michaelson the envelope. What did he do?
He opened the envelope, and he took a letter out of the envelope and read the letter. Then he took some money out of the envelope and counted it. There were those £5 notes.
How many?
20.
How can you be sure that there were 20?
Because when the gentleman counted them, I counted them too.
And after that, did he say anything, Mr. Michaelson?
Yeah. Can I say what he said?
Oh, yes, you can tell us what Mr. Michaelson said.
He said, thank you, Sonny. Go home and tell your uncle everything's all right.
I'd like you to repeat that, David, clearly, and to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury who are sitting over there. Now, after Mr. Michaelson had counted the money, what did he say to you?
He said, thank you, Sonny. Go home and tell your uncle everything's all right.
The case of the Queen against Michaelson will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. John Michaelson, the former housing manager of Church Manley, stands accused under the Public Bodies Corrupt Practices Act of 1889. It is alleged that he accepted a bribe from the late George Roberts in order to obtain for Mr. and Mrs. Roberts the tenancy of a luxury council flat. He has pleaded not guilty to the charge.
Have a good memory, David?
Yes, miss.
Well, let's test it then, shall we? Who won the FA Cup in 1973? Not the last time, the time before.
Sunderland, miss.
Good. And who was the last King of England?
George VI, miss.
Full marks. Now, David, we won't test it quite so far this time, shall we? The gentleman in the council offices behind the table, what was he wearing?
A sort of uniform.
A sort of uniform. Can you tell us anything about it?
It had one of those round hats with a peak on.
Excellent. And now the young lady in the offices, what was she wearing?
A black frock with a long white collar.
Good. And Mr. Michaelson?
A suit, miss, and a collar and a tie.
Thank you. Now, David, you have told my learned friend that neither your uncle nor your aunt ever asked you to tell a lie. What would have happened if, say, they had asked you to tell a lie?
I wouldn't have, miss.
You would not have lied?
No, miss.
Why not?
Because it's wrong to tell lies, miss.
You're quite right, David. It is wrong to tell lies. His lordship has already talked to you about that, hasn't he?
Yes, miss.
Then let us go one step further. Suppose your aunt had told you that it would help her if you told a lie. Would you have lied then?
No, miss, I wouldn't have.
Your uncle and aunt were good to you, weren't they?
Yes, miss.
They looked after you. I mean, your uncle took you to football matches when he was alive, didn't he?
Yes.
Even when he wasn't feeling very well.
Yes.
Yet, in spite of that, if either of them had said, it's all right to tell a lie about this or about that because it'll help us, you still wouldn't have lied.
No, miss.
Now, David, I'm going to ask you this question again. Did you go to the council offices and see Mr. Michaelson?
Yes.
The gentleman in the uniform in the offices, now let's talk about him again. Was he wearing medal ribbons on his uniform, coloured ones, here?
I can't remember, miss.
You can't remember? And the young lady in the office, you said she was wearing a black dress with a white collar. Was it rounded, squared, pointed? Can't remember?
No, miss.
Mr. Michelson's suit? Can you remember the colour of that? All right, David, thank you, that's all.
No further questions, my lord?
Just a moment, Mr. Harvesty. David, what arrangements did you make with your teachers about today?
I've got to go back to school as soon as I finish, sir.
I see. And is he capable of finding his own way, Mr. Harvesty?
I understand so, my lord.
Very well. Leave the court quietly, David, and go straight back to school.
I call Arthur Franks.
Arthur Franks, please.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Your name is Arthur Franks, and you live at 24 Miller Street, Fulchester.
That is correct.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Franks?
I'm a dealer in specialised hi-fi and stereo equipment.
A lucrative profession?
No, not really. I wouldn't exactly call it a profession. It's more of a vocation. I mean, my work is also my hobby.
So mere profit isn't quite so important as it might be.
No.
Mr. Franks, have you ever met the accused?
Yes, I have.
Would you tell us when that was? What happened?
Yes, well, I first met Mr. Michaelson on New Year's Day. I advertise in the local newspapers specialised equipment, and he had seen one of these advertisements. It was for a rather splendid quadraphonic system, and he came in to have a look at it. I've always been in the habit of opening on public holidays, you understand.
Was he impressed?
Oh, indeed he was. Anyone would have been. It was beautiful equipment. AM, FM, MPX, matrix 4-channel tuner amplifier, belt drive turntable, magnetic cartridge, and 4 of the best speakers in the business.
4 speakers?
Yes, that's why it's called quadraphonic.
Yes, of course.
One moment, please. Are we expected to understand this jargon, Mr. Harvesty? I, for one, certainly do not.
No, not precisely, my lord. The equipment in layman's terms comprises a radio, a record player or gramophone, and the necessary loudspeakers. That's broadly correct, isn't it, Mr. Franks?
Well, yes, very broadly.
I see. Thank you.
So, Mr. Michaelson was impressed with your quadraphonic system, Mr. Franks?
Oh, indeed he was, yes. We started to talk about money. Well, it was obvious that he couldn't afford the whole system. The recommended price for this is over £500, but I was willing to let it go for 420. Well, he said that he could only raise £335. And so we talked the matter over, and finally I agreed that let him take away the tuner amplifier in the speakers, and that he could have the turntable and the cartridge for £85 when he could raise the balance. That is provided, of course, that I hadn't sold it in the meantime.
I see. You say you first met Mr. Michaelson on New Year's Day. Do I take it from that that you saw him again?
Yes, he telephoned me 2 days later, in the evening. He said that he had good prospects of being able to raise the cash, and that would I hold on to the turntable for a further week, and I said that I would.
What happened?
Oh, well, he came into the shop exactly 1 week later, on January the 10th, in the morning. He paid me £85 in cash, and he took the turntable away with him.
In what denominations were those notes, Mr. Franks?
£5 notes, 17 of them.
Thank you. I understand that you volunteered information to the police when you read about Mr. Michelson's arrest. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, no, that's not strictly correct. It was when I saw his picture published in the newspaper that prompted my action. The name didn't mean anything to me at all.
Oh? How was that?
Well, I mean, it was only then, when I read about the case, that I realized that his real name was Michaelson. I'd always known him as Mr. Hammond.
He had told you that his name was Hammond?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Franks.
Mr. Franks, have you always been in the habit of writing to the newspapers?
No, I said that I take advertising space.
No, I'm not referring to advertising, Mr. Franks. The reason I ask is because I've been able to trace 7 letters written by you and published by local and national newspapers during the past year. There are probably more. Is this vocation a recent development, or is it something of long standing?
No, it certainly is not a recent development. I've always found that if I've got something to say, the letter columns of the newspapers are a very effective arena in which to say it.
And has your subject always been the vilification of local government?
No.
Now, well, the reason I ask that question, Mr. Franks, is because every one of the 7 letters I've mentioned has been a castigation of some aspect of civil administration. Is this not something of a hobby horse of yours? Were you not, until last year, chairman of the Fulchester Ratepayers Association?
Yes, I was.
And you were the organizer of this year's abortive rate strike?
One of the organizers. And I'm very sorry that it was abortive.
As one of the ratepayers of this district, Mr. Franks, I share your sorrow. Let me say immediately that I would not suggest for one moment that you were capable or guilty of subversion in any of its forms. I do, however, suggest most strongly that your hatred of the persons involved in local government colours not only your thinking, but your evidence.
That is strictly untrue. My only interest in this case is to see justice done. And if what I know helps that end, then I'm happy to tell it.
Is that what you told Mrs. Roberts?
I've never met Mrs. Roberts.
Not any Mrs. Roberts. I take it you do know the Mrs. Roberts to whom I refer.
Well, I presume you mean the Mrs. Roberts that gave evidence earlier.
An inspired presumption. Did you speak to Mrs. Roberts outside the court?
Briefly, yes.
And yet you'd said you'd never met her.
Well, I thought you meant before today.
And what made you think that?
Well, there was an implication
Oh,
that...
more than an implication, Mr. Franks, a positive suggestion that that was the truth.
That is not the truth.
Why did you feel it your duty to lay information before the police?
Well, I feel that it is every citizen's duty to stamp out corruption.
Oh,
and
so-
corruption was evident.
A very fine phrase. How did you know that corruption was evident?
Well, from what I knew firsthand. And from what I'd read in the newspapers.
And when did you read about it in the newspapers?
Well, when it appeared.
When it appeared, I see. It appeared, Mr. Franks, the day after the accused was charged, that is, on March the 21st. And yet, you did not visit the police until 4 days later. Does it really take you so long to recognize your duty as a citizen?
I was taking a very grave step.
Indeed you were, Mr. Franks, a step towards perjury. Is it not true that as soon as you had read the newspaper report, you visited the home of Mrs. Roberts, you heard from her this trumped-up story of money being given to the accused on January the 9th, and you decided to embroider it even further by telling the police that Mr. Michaelson visited you with the £85 on January the 10th, when in fact he paid you that money 3 days earlier on January the 7th.
I have told...
2 days before the alleged bribe was offered.
I have told the truth.
Have you, Mr. Franks? I have no further questions, my lord.
Simple questions, Mr. Franks. When did you first meet Mrs. Eileen Roberts?
Today.
On what date did the accused pay you the £85 balance on his purchases?
January the 10th.
10th. Did you then realize that that was the day after he was alleged to have received a bribe of £100?
Well, I do now, but I didn't know that when I laid the information before the police, no.
And finally, Mr. Franks, have you allowed your feelings on the quality of local government to influence you in this case?
On the contrary, I would say that this case has influenced my feelings. They're stronger now than they ever were.
Thank you, Mr. Franks. Does your lordship have any further questions?
No, thank you. You may leave the witness box, Mr. Franks.
I call Detective Inspector Stoddard. Let us be quite clear on this point, Inspector. The files that you have produced are those relating to 20 successful tenancies, the total number of flats available on the Lark Hill development.
That is correct.
And 5 of these files, relating to Marshall, Prince, Clark, Rogers and Micklewhite, contained only a copy letter informing the recipients that tenancies had been granted to them.
Correct.
And of the remaining 15, all but one were sizable files containing correspondence of an investigatory nature and the answering letters from the applicants.
Yeah, that's right, sir, yeah.
Whilst the last and most recently dated file contained a letter to Mr. Joseph Moores of Radio Cosmos, stating that the chairman of the council had mentioned his interest in the flats and asking for Mr. Moore's requirements. There's a reply stating these requirements, and then the normal letter regarding the granting of a tenancy.
That's correct. Yeah.
Now let's come to the unsuccessful applications. The file relating to Mr. and Mrs. Roberts.
Yes, it was different, sir. The others all contained the investigatory letters and replies. The Roberts file merely contained the original letter of application and the reply stating they'd been unsuccessful.
Thank you. My lord, I don't think we need refer to these files in any more detail now. We can refer to them again later if necessary. Thank you.
Inspector Stoddard, when you cautioned the defendant, he replied, "Oh dear, I think I know who started all this," correct?
Almost, ma'am. Actually, what he said was, "Oh dear, I think I know who started this, not all this."
Forgive me, oh dear, I think I know who started this. Did he seem nervous at the time?
No, ma'am.
Or did he impress you as a man who had been found out in what has been described in another place as the ultimate horror of corruption?
Oh, not particularly, no. Not at that time, ma'am.
Not at that time. Are you inferring that he so impressed you later?
No, ma'am.
Then I must ask you to choose your words a little more carefully, Inspector. Did the defendant at any time hinder you in the performance of your duties? Well,
No,
for
ma'am.
instance, when you asked to examine his files, did he put any obstacles in your way?
No, ma'am.
Inspector, how long was there between your first interview with the accused and the date on which you exercised your warrant to search his office?
About 10 days, sir.
10 days, thank you. I don't think I need pursue that any further. My lord, that is the case for the prosecution.
Yes, Miss Gibson.
I call the defendant, John Michaelson.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by mighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Your name is John Michaelson, and you live at Oakfield, Shrewsbury Road, Church Manley.
Yes, that is correct.
Where are you employed, Mr. Michaelson?
I'm Deputy Director of Housing for the district of Fellowbridge.
That, I understand, is the district which did embrace the borough of Church Manley at the recent reorganisation.
Yes, that is so.
How does your present position compare with your previous post as housing manager of Church Manley?
Well, to take a contemporary yardstick, money pays much more than my previous job, so I can only assume that it is seen to be more important. And although I now have deputy in front of my title, I'm responsible for a much bigger area and greatly increased staff.
I see. And has there been any suggestion from any official quarter that you should be suspended or dismissed even because of these proceedings?
Well, none whatsoever. I'm happy to say that all my colleagues and members of the council treat me as they've always done.
Mr. Michaelson, would you sketch for us briefly now the history of the letting of the Lark Hill flats as it concerned you?
Yes. Well, we acquired the land in 1970 and started building 3 years later. There is always a demand for this type of accommodation. We had dozens of speculative applications in our files, so there was no point in advertising. I suppose we discussed the flats at about 6 or 7 meetings of the Housing Committee, and it was eventually agreed that we should issue tenancies from these filed applications.
And how were the successful applicants chosen?
Well, the committee chose 14 from the normal applications, and I was entrusted with the choice of 6 specials, as we called them. There were always people in the public eye who were more best served by this kind of accommodation, and I had to weed them out. Subject, of course, to ratification by the committee, though I have to say that they never overruled me in these matters.
You appear to enjoy a large measure of support, Mr. Michaelson.
Oh, yes, I've always been proud of that.
Mr. Michaelson, how many applications did the committee consider in making their choice?
I think it was about 80, my lord.
As few as that, in these days.
Well, these were luxury flats, my lord, and the rent was commensurately high. Most people specified a top figure when they applied for council accommodation, and only about 80 fell into this bracket.
I see.
Now, Mr. Michaelson...
Just a moment, Miss Gibson. From how many special cases did you make your choice?
I think it was, yes, it was 11, my lord.
11.
Mr. Michaelson, let us move on. Apart from existing applications, I gather you received more when the plans for Lark Hill became public knowledge.
Yes, we did.
And was one of these from Mr. and Mrs. George Roberts?
Yes, it was.
How did you categorize this application?
Well, I saw it as a special case. Mr. Roberts was something of a local celebrity, and I knew that he didn't enjoy the best of health. Oh, I'm not saying that his accommodation was in any way inadequate, but Lark Hill, being as it was, a little farther away from Borough's industry, might be fractionally healthier for him. I took all these factors into account when putting his letter amongst my specials.
I see. And you were visited by Mrs. Roberts?
Yes, I was.
Could you tell us about that, please?
Well, it was a fairly normal visit up to a point. She more or less repeated what her husband had written, and I was of course, non-committal, as I had to be. Then she went on to suggest that if they were to get one of the flats, that I would be more than welcome to visit her as often as I liked.
For what purpose?
Well, I gathered it wasn't but a social drink. She was at pains to point out when her husband would be away from home, and went on to say that there must be very nice views from the windows, which we could both enjoy, the bedroom windows, I should have said.
Mr. Michaelson, please tell us quite simply what you understood her to mean.
Well, I was left in no doubt, my lord. It was quite obvious from her manner that she was offering to have intercourse with me if I gave her the tenancy of one of the Lark Hill flats.
Thank you.
And how did you reply to this?
Well, in the only way I could. I treated it as a joke. I went on to say that I would treat her application most seriously, which indeed I did.
Did you say anything to her about a business arrangement?
No.
Had you met Mrs. Roberts before?
Yes, I had.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was at a council dance. She invited me to dance, I remember. She told me that her husband wasn't feeling too well, and apparently he wanted to go home, but if he did, then she'd have no transport. Well, she appeared to be hinting rather broadly, so I offered to drop her. In the event, it came to nothing. Her husband stayed.
And how did you feel to hear yourself described as something of a ladies' man, to say the least?
I'm flattered, but mystified.
Mr. Michaelson, did the boy David Roberts ever visit you in your office?
Never.
Have you seen him before today?
No.
Have you ever accepted a bribe?
No.
Or been offered one?
No.
Then you are saying that the evidence of the boy David Roberts, insofar as it concerned a visit to your office and the handing to you of an envelope containing money, is pure fabrication.
Totally.
Is there any reason to your knowledge why this boy, David Roberts, or his aunt should make these allegations?
I can think of no personal reason. But I have come to realize that to many people, the home, the place where you live is vastly important. I mean, I got the feeling from Mrs. Roberts that she desperately wanted to live on Lark Hill. I've seen this, well, passion before. And I quite understand her feelings, and indeed sympathize with her. I mean, she must have been desperately disappointed when our letter arrived.
But let us turn now to the evidence of Mr. Arthur Franks. Did you buy hi-fi equipment from him?
Yes, I did.
And did you ask him to hold one piece of equipment for you?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, I rang him on the morning of January the 7th and asked him if he still had the turntable. He said he had, and I called round and bought it.
You did not then ring him on January the 3rd and say that you were expecting a windfall?
No, I did not.
So you rang and you called on January the 7th, not January the 10th, as Mr. Franks alleges?
No, it was certainly the 7th. It was a Monday. Mondays are my slackest days. And if ever I have any personal business to attend to, I always do it on Monday morning. And I remember this one particularly well.
Now, how did you raise the money, Mr. Michael?
Well, this is why I remember the day particularly. Well, I enjoy gambling, and 4 or 5 times a year I go to the greyhound track. I went on the Saturday, and, well, most unusually for me, I won £110.
Are you ashamed of this hobby of yours?
No. But I do understand how other people feel about it. I must confess I feel it myself about addicts. I'm not an addict.
Mr. Michaelson, it is alleged that during your dealings with Mr. Franks, you call yourself by an assumed name. You call yourself Hammond. Is this correct?
Yes, it is.
Well, would you tell the court why, please?
Yes, well, I didn't like doing it, but I have learned from experience that if one is in public life, a measure of anonymity can be helpful. Now, I don't want to sound ungracious, but many people feel that an acquaintanceship with, say, someone like myself, can be turned to advantage. Favors can be asked. That sort of thing. I have an unusual name, and on occasions I don't use it. I just feel that the fewer people in my private life who know of my public position, the better I can cope with that position.
The better you can do your job.
Yes.
And doing your job properly and fairly and honestly is a matter of some concern to you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Michaelson.
The case of the Queen against Michaelson will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court. Housing manager John Michaelson has pleaded not guilty to the charge of accepting a bribe from the late George Roberts. It is alleged that Michaelson was to grant the tenancy of a luxury flat to Roberts and his wife Eileen.
Mr. Michaelson, let's clear the air a little, shall we? Are you really suggesting that an 11-year-old boy stood up in this court and told us a tissue of lies?
Yes, I am.
And that his aunt did the same?
Yes.
For no other reason than that she was disappointed?
Well, I can think of no other reason.
Mr. Michaelson, do you agree that the practice of assuming false names is normally confined to the criminal classes, the acting profession, and gentlemen signing hotel registers?
No.
Oh, I see. You consider it a normal practice.
I think it was normal in my situation, yes.
And you had no ulterior motive, other than that Mr. Franks might call on you for some unspecified favour if you told him your name. Church Manley is 25 miles from Fulchester, Mr. Michaelson. How many people in this land know the name of the housing manager of a borough 25 miles from where they live? Hazard a guess.
I have no idea.
I'm sure you haven't. Now, you bought from Mr. Franks equipment to the total value of £420. This was split into 2 transactions. On January the 1st, you paid Mr. Franks £335, and on January the 10th...
No, it wasn't the 10th, it was the 7th.
A few days later, you paid Mr. Franks a further £85 in cash. Now, whilst it's not actually been put into words, the suggestion is that this money was part of a bribe received from the Roberts. A suggestion refuted by you and explained by your statement that you won the money at the dogs. I went on the Saturday, and most unusually for me, I won £110. Correct, Mr. Michaelson?
Yes, that is correct.
Most unusually. How then did you acquire the money for the first payment, the £335, which you also paid in cash?
Are you suggesting that I took bribes from other applicants?
I'm not suggesting anything, Mr. Michaelson. I'm asking. You see, according to Mr. Franks, you visited him on the 10th.
No, it was the 7th.
And you paid him the balance of £85 in £5 notes. Now, it must be remembered here that in other evidence it was stated that a sum of £100, also in £5 notes, was paid to you on January the 9th. You've told the court that the second amount of £85 was the result of a successful flutter at the dogs. Mm-hmm. Will you be telling us that this first amount of over £300 came from the same source?
Yes, I will, because that is where it came from.
Oh, come now, Mr. Michaelson, this is deteriorating into farce.
Well, I should like to make this quite clear that this represented the winnings of several years. When I played a little game with myself, if I won, then I put the money away in cash in a strongbox, and if I lost from salary. At best, it was a form of saving, and at worst, a piece of harmless self-delusion.
You were responsible for the selection of 6 specials, as you call them, to be given tenancies of the Lark Hill flats.
Yes, I was.
And you chose Messrs. Marshall, Prince, Clark, Micklewhite, and a Miss Rogers. Mm-hmm. And one other. Who was that one other, Mr. Michaelson?
Mr. Moores. He was the manager of the commercial radio station based on Rutherford.
No, I think we're at cross purposes, Mr. Michaelson. I meant your original 6th choice. Wasn't it the Roberts? Weren't you quite prepared at that time to honour your part of the deal? That if they paid you £100, you would grant them a tenancy, but that when Mr. Moores later wrote to the chairman of the council, the chairman more or less gave you an order to include him in your list. That's nearer the truth, isn't it?
No, it is not.
Well, I'll draw your attention to the correspondence with your 6th choice, Mr. Moores. Yes, it flowed with, one might say, a positively indecent haste. In your first letter to Mr. Moores, dated the 4th of February, you urgently requested his reply. His letter, dated the 6th, presumably, reached you the day before your deadline. Are you seriously telling this court that you didn't make your choice until the day before you sent out those letters?
I would have decided earlier, but when the chairman spoke to me on the Monday morning, I decided to postpone my decision until I received Mr. Moore's reply.
Yes,
that arrived on the Thursday.
No, I suggest that Mr. Moore's intervention was an embarrassment to you, Mr. Michaelson. You had already made up your mind that the Roberts would be given a flat, which is what you'd promised when you took their £100.
That is a lie.
But when you realized that Mr. Moores had to be accommodated, you made a last-minute change of plans. You ditched the Roberts, fondly believing that George Roberts wouldn't dare to bring charges, for had he done so, he would have accused himself of the equal crime of proffering a bribe.
I have never taken a bribe in my life.
But would you have seen it as a bribe? You have a list of worthy citizens, don't you? People in public life, presumably rather better off than the average.
Well, I wouldn't say that of the Roberts.
Ah, but you didn't choose the Roberts, did you? Or so you said.
No, I didn't choose them, no, but they were considered. You're talking about the list, not the eventual choice.
Oh, I see, that's what you meant. Oh, I thought for a moment you'd made a mistake, which isn't difficult when one's trying to stick so desperately to the same story. Well, let's examine this. You're dealing with important, in the main, moneyed people. You're in a position to provide them with something that they want. It isn't unnatural that they might wish to show their appreciation. Nor is it unnatural that you might accept that appreciation, might consider it not so much a bribe as a tip. After all, if you tip a taxi driver for driving you carefully, comfortably, speedily to your destination, are you guilty of corruption? Is he? He has a job to do and gets paid for it too, doesn't he? Confusing, isn't it, Mr. Michaelson? Rather blurred round the edges.
No, not to me.
Not to you?
No, the distinctions are quite clear in my mind. I am not a taxi driver.
Really?
I'm a public servant. And I receive my reward in salary. And if I accept any gifts or bribe from any member of the public with whom I have been dealing, in respect of those dealings, then I am guilty of corruption. And whilst I must thank you for your invitation to confess, I must regret I cannot accept it.
I see. Then we must accept that an 11-year-old boy told a tissue of lies.
Yes.
As did his aunt. And Mr. Franks, a reputable trader of this county.
Yes.
And the money which you paid to Mr. Franks, although corresponding in substance with the amount of the alleged bribe, was, in fact, the proceeds of a lucky evening at the Dogs.
Yes.
You really are asking quite a lot, Mr. Michaelson.
I have no re-examination, my lord.
Very well. The accused will now return to the dock.
I call Richard Malcolm Fitch. So, Councillor Fitch, from your knowledge of the defendant, you would have no hesitation whatsoever in recommending him for any post of responsibility in local government?
None whatsoever.
No more questions, my lord.
Well, you appear to think rather highly of the defendant.
Yes, I do.
We've been told that he won £110 at the Greyhound track. Did you know Mr. Michaelson gambled?
No, I didn't.
What would have been your attitude had you known?
I can't say that I'd have been entitled to an attitude. As far as I'm concerned, his own private life is his own. He's entitled to do what he likes with it.
Really? You do surprise me. See, I should have thought that any activity by a public officer which reduced his circumstances to a dangerous level and thus made him susceptible to blackmail would be, to say the least, a matter for concern.
But he didn't reduce his circumstances to a dangerous level, did he? He won.
Well, yes, on this occasion, according to the defendant, he did indeed win. But judging from the number of impoverished bookmakers that one sees tramping the streets, wouldn't you say that the chances of losing are somewhat greater than the chances of winning?
Well, it all depends how lucky you are.
Indeed it does, yes, indeed. Luck plays a very great part. And gambling is defined in every book of reference that I've been able to find as a risky undertaking. Would you agree with that definition?
Yes, I suppose so. At the same
time,
I would
Mr. Fitch. Yes, you've answered my question. Now, I'd like you to think carefully before you answer this one. From your knowledge of the defendant, which of these alternatives is more likely? That in spite of his position, he indulged in the risky undertaking of gambling and was able to pay for £85 worth of equipment out of his winnings, or that in fact he found that money from some other source?
If Mr. Michaelson says he won it at the Dogs, then he won it at the Dogs, and that's an end of it.
So you agree that he was capable of taking risks which might well have jeopardized his position?
Taking risks may be, but I haven't said that it could jeopardize his position.
Oh, this man who assumes a false name so that his private life will not spill over into his public business? But what about the other Mr. Michaelson who walks openly around the Greyhound track in his own town? Which of these two have you come here today to defend? Or have you really come here today to defend not a man, but a system?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, then I'll tell you, Councillor. We've all of us seen over the past year how the slightest scandal in the affairs of government, local or central, can create a raging thirst for investigation. The sort of investigation which, no doubt to you, would seem a witch hunt. Is that what you're anxious to prevent, Councillor?
You can investigate me till you're blue in the face, but aren't I going to be allowed to answer that dirty allegation?
I will certainly give you the chance to answer that last question, Mr. Fitch, which was, as I understand it, have you come here today to tell us what you know about the defendant, or to attempt to circumvent an investigation into the local government of your area? Quite a pertinent question, I think.
I've come here to speak for the defendant, my lord, who I know to be an honest man.
Thank you. Does that satisfy you, Mr. Harvesty?
I will take note of the answer, my lord.
Have you any further questions?
No, thank you, my lord.
Miss Gibson?
No re-examination, my lord.
Very well, you may leave the witness box.
I call Wendy Elizabeth Bartholomew.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Your name is Wendy Elizabeth Bartholomew, and you live at 32 Craig Road, Church Manley.
Yes.
What is your occupation?
I'm a secretary.
To whom?
Mr. Michaelson.
To this Mr. Michaelson, to the defendant?
Yes.
Now, could you speak just a little bit louder, Miss Bartholomew, so that the jury could hear you quite plainly?
Yes.
Thank you, that's better. Now, your office, where is it in relation to Mr. Michelson's?
Well, from the outside corridor, you go through my office to Mr. Michaelson.
I see. And is there any other way out of his office than through yours?
No, there's only the one door.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you do if someone unknown to you and without an appointment asked to see Mr. Michaelson?
I'd ask what their business was, and if it seemed urgent, I'd ask Mr. Michaelson if he wanted to see the person.
And do you remember that happening in the case of a Mrs. Roberts?
Yes, I do.
Would you tell us about it?
It was January the 3rd. She asked to see Mr. Michaelson, and he said he'd see her, so I showed her in.
Now, I want you to go forward 6 days in time until January the 9th. On that date, did you admit an 11-year-old boy, David Roberts, to Mr. Michelson's office?
No, I never let children in.
Never?
No, it's a rule. There are some families on the housing list that send their children on purpose, thinking Mr. Michaelson will be sorry for them, but I never let them in.
So you're saying that if David Roberts had asked to go into the inner office on that or any other day, you would on no account have showed him in?
Yes. I mean, I never showed him in.
Have you ever seen the boy?
No.
Thank you.
Miss Bartholomew, if you've never seen David Roberts, how do you account for the fact that he knows that you wear a black dress with a long white collar? You do own such a dress, I take it?
I used to. I don't now.
Yes, well, we won't split hairs. You owned such a dress on January the 9th. Well, come on, it's a simple question. Did you or did you not own such a dress on January the 9th?
No, I didn't. I gave it away on the 6th. I remember now.
You gave it away?
Yes, to my friend Susan. It was getting a bit tight for me, and she was slimmer than I was.
Yes, I'm sure it's a very interesting story, but what interests me more is that you should be able to remember so suddenly and so dramatically that you gave it away on this particular date.
It's her birthday, the 6th. She's a Capricorn, and she'd always liked the dress.
Well, you're obviously very, very kind to people you like, Miss Bartholomew. Tell me, do you like Mr. Michaelson?
Yes.
He's a good employer, is he? Kindly, considerate?
Yes.
Do you like him very much?
Yes.
Would you say a little louder, please?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so.
Miss Bartholomew, you say that you gave away your only black dress with a white collar on January the 6th. You could not, therefore, have been wearing it on January the 9th when the boy David Roberts allegedly visited the council offices.
No.
Could you have been wearing it on January the 3rd when Mrs. Roberts came to see Mr. Michaelson?
I could have. I had been wearing it quite often just before I gave it away. It was an office dress.
Thank you. Does your lordship have any questions?
No. You may go.
Then I call Norman Brooks.
Norman Brooks, please.
What is your religion?
Presbyterian.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Is your name Norman Brooks, and do you live at 6A Merton Street, Church Manley?
Yes, that is correct, ma'am.
You are, I believe, a member of the Corps of Commissionaires.
Yes, ma'am, I've had the honour to serve the Corps for the past 17 years.
Mr. Brooks, are you used to obeying orders implicitly?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
But what were your orders regarding the admittance of children to the council offices?
Under no circumstances must they be admitted, ma'am, without the express permission of the official concerned.
So if an 11-year-old boy was to ask for Mr. Michaelson, you would not, under any circumstances, take it upon yourself to show him into the council offices?
Under no circumstances, ma'am.
Now, are you always on duty at the west entrance, the one next to the officials' car park?
Yes, ma'am, except for holidays, that is.
But were you on duty there on January the 3rd last?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, do you recall Mrs. Eileen Roberts asking for Mr. Michaelson?
Yes, ma'am, and I directed her up to the office.
And you were on duty on January the 9th last?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you, on that day, direct the boy David Roberts to the office?
Oh, most certainly not, ma'am.
Have you, to your knowledge, ever seen David Roberts?
Not to my knowledge, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Well, now, Mr. Brooks, you say that you have strictest orders on dealing with children. Why is this?
They're a bloody nuisance, sir. I beg your pardon, my lord. I'm sorry, sir. You see, sir, their parents are always sending them in with wee notes and messages for the rates department and the rents officers and such like. Well, we have to put a stop to that, sir, or else it'd be running all over the building.
Really? As bad as that?
Oh, yes, sir.
So, if you get a lot of children making inquiries, it's possible that you did see David Roberts that day, isn't it? I mean, the only thing that you can be sure of is that you didn't let him into the building proper.
Oh, I'm sure of that, sir.
But not that you didn't see him.
Like I say, sir, we do get a lot of them.
Yes, yes, of course you do. So it's possible that the boy saw you, went out and re-entered by another door, and so made his way to Mr. Michelson's office.
No, that wouldn't be possible, sir.
Oh?
Not on that day. You see, sir, because of the fuel crisis, most of the lights in the council offices were turned off. And most of the doors into the building were closed that day, except for the one that I was in charge of.
I see. So if anyone wanted to get into the building unofficially, as it were, they would have to go over your dead body.
Yes, sir.
You told my learned friend that you're used to obeying orders implicitly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you always agree with the orders that you're given?
Well, it's not for me to question them, sir.
No, I didn't ask if you question them. I asked if you agree with them.
Most of them, sir.
Most of them. Which means that some of them you do not agree with. That's what you mean, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Can you give me an example of an order with which you did not agree?
Mr. Harvesty, counsel for the defence is adopting a most tolerant attitude, but I am not at all sure that your line of questioning is relevant.
I can assure your lordship that I have no intention of wasting the court's time.
Very well. You may answer the question, Mr. Brooks.
I asked Mr. Brooks if you could give an example of an order you were given with which you did not agree.
Well, sir, there are occasions when, say, the gentlemen of the press are anxious to talk to one of the councillors or one of the officers, say, and, well, it isn't convenient. And I've been told to say that the gentleman's not in.
I see. You're asked to lie, in fact.
Yes, sir.
And as it's an order from a superior officer, you do lie.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, let's suppose, Mr. Brooks, that you had on January the 9th last been ordered to admit the boy David Roberts, but that if you were questioned about it, Mr. Michaelson told you that you should deny admitting him. Would you have obeyed those orders?
Oh, my lord, I must object. It's not possible for a witness to answer a totally hypothetical question.
Yes, I agree. I do see where you are leading now, Mr. Harvesty, but hypotheses do not help.
I beg your lordship's pardon. May I put it this way, Mr. Brooks? Have you ever, at any time, refused to obey an order given to you by Mr. Michaelson?
No, sir.
No more questions.
I have no re-examination, my lord.
Very well. You may go, Mr. Brooks.
That is the case for the defence, my lord.
Members of the jury, the accused is charged under Section 1 of the Public Bodies Corrupt Practices Act of 1889, namely, that he did corruptly accept the sum of £100 from George Roberts as an inducement to procure for George Roberts the tenancy of a council flat. It is now for you to ask yourselves whether the evidence you have heard has established beyond all reasonable doubt that this offence was committed. There are points most important points. In the evidence from defense and prosecution, which are diametrically opposed. An 11-year-old boy has taken the oath and said one thing. A 17-year-old girl has taken the same oath and said the opposite. Only one can be telling the truth. And it is for you, members of the jury, to determine where that truth lies. I will simply remind you that it is the duty of the prosecution to prove their case beyond all reasonable doubt. Now, if you are satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt that the defendant did corruptly accept the sum of £100, then you will bring in a verdict of guilty. If, on the other hand, you are not so satisfied, you will find the defendant not guilty. Now, members of the jury, I will ask you kindly to retire and consider your verdict.
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the accused, John Michaelson, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes.
John Michaelson, you have been convicted of a very serious offence. Although you are a man of professionally good character, and I give you due regard for that, the only proper sentence in a case such as this, where you have abused your position of public trust, is a sentence of imprisonment. You will go to prison for 18 months. Take him down.
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.